A California court has ruled that the state's law mandating corporate diversity quotas is unconstitutional. The law required corporations to diversify their boards with members from certain racial, ethnic, and LGBT groups. NTD's Grace Coulter has the details.
California's corporate diversity quota law has been declared unconstitutional. A state court in Los Angeles made the ruling Friday. Conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch filed a lawsuit over the law on behalf of 3 California taxpayers in October 2020. The lawsuit argued that spending any taxpayer dollars or resources on the law violates the state's constitutional equal protection clause. While the court agreed with the plaintiff's case, the ruling didn't explain the judge's reasoning. The diversity measure, which was signed into law last year, required that the boards of directors of California-based publicly traded companies satisfy a quota of members from underrepresented communities. This included LGBT, Black, Latino, Asian, Native American, and Pacific Islander individuals. Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton commended the ruling, calling it historic. He said in a statement that the decision declared unconstitutional one of the most blatant and significant attacks in the modern era on constitutional prohibitions against discrimination. Judicial Watch is also challenging another California law, which requires a female director on corporate boards. Grace Coulter, NTD News.
A Bay Area-based author is challenging Governor Gavin Newsom in the upcoming gubernatorial election. He cites rampant homelessness and crime as reasons for the state's crisis of chaos.
It really took the brazen smash and grab looting of Louis Vuitton and other luxury stores to finally compel San Francisco's leaders into action.
Michael Schellenberger, author of the book San Francisco, announced he is running for governor to intervene in the state's crises. He explains to California Insider's CM Karami that poor money management and public policies lead to rampant homelessness and crime, especially in San Francisco.
And to some extent, it's San Francisco's great wealth that's created the crisis on the streets, by which I mean San Francisco gives out cash, it gives out free housing, it gives many other amenities to people who demand them, often in support of their addiction, and that's attracted people to San Francisco. It's created these open drug scenes.
The city of San Francisco has over 8,000 homeless people, with more than half of them living on the streets. Despite many previous attempts to contain this issue, the numbers continue to climb. Schellenberger says drug addiction and free housing are the main culprits.
Because giving away housing to drug addicts without any consequences of sobriety, without any requirements of sobriety or abstinence, has resulted in people overdosing and dying from hard drugs in their hotel rooms, and that's only increased over the last several years.
Schellenberger believes San Francisco can model after other liberal cities like Amsterdam that required addiction treatment and psychiatric care to make the city safe again. He proposes CalPsych, a new agency to address addiction and mental illness. The program would also be responsible for enforcing rehabilitation requirements.
Next, 4 Los Angeles cities are suing the Attorney General over a state-mandated affordable housing law. They claim it is unconstitutional and has almost 100 years of precedent. Let's take a look at the arguments the cities are making. Redondo Beach is leading a lawsuit challenging Attorney General Rob Bonta over Senate Bill 9. The state law permits single-family lots to be divided for development for 2 to 4 houses. The other 3 cities are Torrance, Carson, and Whittier. The leaders of the suit want a court order to find the law in violation of the state constitution and to prohibit its enforcement. The petition writes, "It is undisputed that planning and zoning laws are matters of municipal affairs, and the state eviscerated a city's local control over land use decisions and a community-tailored zoning process." It additionally wrote that the law for municipalities to zone single-family residential districts has been well settled for almost 100 years. Governor Gavin Newsom signed SB 9 into law in September. Proponents say it will create opportunities to ease the state's housing shortage. But before Newsom signed the bill, the League of California Cities, along with 240 cities, signed a letter urging him to veto the bill. SB 9 does not require newly created homes or lots to meet certain affordability standards. The petition states that high-priced urban areas could sell compact housing at high market rates as well as increase land value. The four cities wrote that affordable housing is a serious issue, and they are finding their own ways to solve it. Carson City has developed 1,000 affordable housing units over the last 20 years, with 900 more either approved or under construction. Daniel Hall, NTD News, California. Elon Musk, the world's richest man, has disclosed that he's now Twitter's largest shareholder, and this comes after he ran a Twitter poll regarding Twitter and free speech.
Elon Musk has revealed he's Twitter's largest shareholder with a 9.2% stake, and this is happening just a few days after he tweeted about Twitter and free speech.
He's a man who in the past has shown that he's not afraid to take his own wealth and, to use the expression, put money where his mouth is.
Matt Sweetwood is the CEO of Greener Process Systems and a Twitter power user with over 150,000 followers. Sweetwood says Musk will have power over what goes on in the company.
At a minimum, it will get him a seat on the board of directors. Having a seat on the board of directors, he now has access to all information, both public and what's privately discussed among other board members, and he can have some input over that.
Michael Busler is a professor of finance at Stockton University. Busler believes that if Musk were to go for majority ownership, he would do it in stages.
He could go in and buy it outright. That would really shake up the stock market for Twitter, and it might drive prices possibly way up. I think if he's going to get control and do it in stages, he doesn't really want to shock the market and cause any real shocks in the price.
Jeremy Knopf is the founder of Spartan Media. Knopf says Musk's huge audience will heavily influence the company and the media.
When we look at his 9.2% stake in Twitter, that in and of itself, I mean, that's impressive to begin with, but the control that he actually will have is exponentially larger because he has this huge, vocal, and engaged audience.
Musk has the 8th largest following on Twitter. Colin Fredrickson, NTD News.
The nation's oldest active park ranger is retiring at the age of 100. She led tours at a Northern California historical park teaching about World War II. NTD's Eileen Ng will tell us more about who she is and her life achievements.
The National Park Service announced Thursday that Betty Reed Soskin retired after more than 15 years at the Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Historical Park in Richmond. She celebrated her 100th birthday in September 2021. A middle school in El Sobrante honored her by renaming the school after her. In a statement, Soskin said, "To be a part of helping to mark the place where that dramatic trajectory of my own life, combined with others of my generation, will influence the future by the footprints we've left behind, has been incredible." In 2011, she became a permanent NPS employee. There, she has been leading public programs while sharing her personal remembrances and observations at the Park Visitor Center. Soskin was a civil rights activist and took part in meetings to develop a general management plan for the Homefront Park. She was named California Woman of the Year in 1995. In 2015, she received a presidential coin from Barack Obama after she lit the national Christmas tree at the White House. She was also honored with entry into the Congressional Record. Glamour magazine named her Woman of the Year in 2018. Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Historical Park will celebrate Soskin's retirement on Saturday, April 16th in Richmond.
Students recently held a bake sale to support their county's police K-9 unit. They say they want to give back to their local police. Let's hear from the kids and meet some of the dogs.
3 students from H. Clark Powers Elementary School in Loomis held a donut bake sale. The students say the money raised will support the county's police K-9 unit.
We're selling donuts to raise money to donate to the K-9 unit at the Placer County Sheriff's Office. I support the Placer County Sheriff's Office because they do so much for our county and they keep our schools and community safe.
The students held the bake sale at their school and sold donuts to staff and students.
I support the Placer County Sheriff's Office because they do a lot of things for our county and we want to give back.
The Placer County Sheriff's Office K-9 unit has 6 Deputy Sheriff K-9 teams allocated to the Auburn and South Placer area. 2 others are allocated to the North Lake Tahoe station. The canines are trained in locating and apprehending violent criminal suspects, crowd control, and narcotics and firearm detection. Cade is the most recent addition to the unit. He's a 2-year-old Belgian Malinois, according to the Placer County Canine Association's March 19th Facebook post. Cade and his handler, Deputy Buckley, recently graduated from canine school and are ready to serve their North Lake Tahoe community.
In Southern California, about 15,000 people and their dogs flooded Huntington Dog Beach over the weekend for the 10th annual Corgi Beach Day.
Corgis and their owners participated in several contests, including Corgi Limbo and 2 costume competitions. The biggest star of the day was Crouton the Corgi, also known as the Michael Jordan of Corgi Limbo. Now 14 years old and receiving treatment for brain cancer, Crouton still managed to win the Limbo contest for the 7th year. Crouton's owner, Crystal Siri, says her Corgi enjoys competing even when she loses. Corgis for Ukraine, Reed, Riley, Roy, and Ringo were also a big hit. Their owner, Rick Garcia, dressed all 4 in yellow and blue roses to match the Ukrainian flag, parading them through the Best Anything Goes costume contest. Another Corgi, Cricket, won the Best Costume contest.